You're still in Eastern U.S.? Hey, we're doing good. We're doing good. We are in Canada. We are in a different scenario than you guys down there right now. We've switched roles in the last 6 months. So yes, yes. I, well, you guys changed political parties, and you know, and then a bunch of other stuff happened. And, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, yeah. Everybody. Well, I mean, we're showing our true colors. That's what it is. It's our globalist president, our prime minister, is showing his true colors. Okay. Yeah. Let's spend a couple seconds troubleshooting here while we're live.
That's the way. I can hear you.
Yeah. We can. And could they hear us before too? I wonder, or just not you?
Can you guys hear Larry?
Okay, that's good. Good. Oh boy. Yep.
I can hear you. In the chat, hear Larry just in case they can hear me, but not him.
Okay. No rush on our part though. Let's get this thing right, and no problem. We can again.
We
Yep.
can
We can
still
still
hear
hear you. Yeah. Sounds like you're coming through a different mic.
But we could work with it.
Yeah, but it's good enough to work with from our end. Yeah.
Can you guys hear Larry now?
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. This is after this, we're going back to the drawing board of troubleshooting. So hopefully this works. Oh, okay. Okay. We can still hear you. We can. Yeah.
That someone's just fucking with you.
Do you have troll? Do you have...
I feel this one. You sound much better on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah, your audio just went up a notch. Yeah.
You have any suggestions, Aaron? Or?
What are you using to stream? Are you using OBS?
How about now? Is it working now? Maybe now it's working. I hope it's working now. I'm trying my best to make this thing work. Maybe now we can finally make it work. There we go. Now it's working. Okay, now we're good. Now it's good. As he left, it worked. See that? I knew there'd be a chance. And we were waiting until he left. That's what happened. He left, and now it works. Okay, now we're good. There we go.
Excellent. Good stuff. All right.
It took some time, but we figured it out. Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, for watching, thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate that. It took us a couple seconds to figure out what's going on, but we have finally figured out what's going on. So thank you so much for your patience. Really appreciate it. So I guess the biggest thing I want to bring up now, which some of your audience already heard, is now you guys have become the police state. It was us, but not anymore. Now it's you guys.
Well, some of your states, I mean, I feel like this is really now showing the difference in the states a little bit where.
I'm not recording yet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Should I start now?
Yeah, it's start now. Yeah.
You should probably record this because it's going to get good now. Now that my audience can hear me, they can now yell at you in my chat, and then I can yell back at you guys. So it's all good
great.
now.
Oh, I know. I love it because I was watching your show a little bit here, and I was like, oh, I wish I would have been able to talk to your audience.
Yes.
Questions. So this is great.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I think the United States are showing the states and the differences a little bit, and up here it seems to be going backwards. We're really under the thumb of all our governments. They're all complying with this orders from upon high. There's no discussing any of this. They're talking about vaccination percentages equal opening up back up, and it's craziness right now. So,
but the craziest thing you see is you look at the states in our country that have locked down and those that haven't, and then look at the states that are growing and those that haven't. And those that are growing are the ones that didn't lock down, right? Texas is growing, didn't lock down. Florida is growing, didn't lock down. New York is not growing, locked down. California, not growing, locked down.
And you
it's crazy. People don't like to be in cages. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, exactly.
Totally weird.
And also the stats are just not showing that these lockdowns and masks and all this stuff isn't really doing anything. If you start looking at some data from the people that aren't, presenting it on the mainstream big pharma paid channels, so you're going to see different pictures.
Absolutely true. Yes. And the hardest part, I think, about this whole thing is, your show tends to be about alternative ideas, conspiracy stuff that people, don't think the mainstream, right? That's what your show was all about.
Yeah.
And I think lockdowns gave you guys extra oomph. I mean, because people were sitting home on the internet creating communities about things that trying to make sense of this and the alternative facts, whether they're real or not. And I know some of them are outlandish and some of them aren't at all, but they all seem a whole lot more real now because we're searching to find some kind of answer, right? We're trying to find some kind of answer. And now here comes some guy saying, well, it's this thing. And if this was 2 years ago, we would have said, No such thing. No way that's true. Now we're like, well, maybe that's some real stuff now. It really has changed.
Here's hoping. I mean, I am like, I'm optimistic that this could still turn out to be a good long run thing if we like could zoom out far enough that all in all enough people quit watching movies and they quit, going to football games, and they just sort of got rid of all that
whoa. Why do you want people to stop watching movies and going to football games? People love that stuff. I mean, Canadian football is not as cool as US football. That's true. However,
distraction. It's been a giant distraction.
I will go back to one thing. I'm going to give you. I'm going to date myself, and I'm going to give the Canadian Football League its due. Without Canadian football, there wouldn't be the first black quarterback in the NFL. Warren Moon.
I used to know who that was. Okay.
Warren Moon, who was a CFL champion in the 80s, Canadian Football League champion in the 80s. He couldn't get a good starting job in the NFL. Went to the CFL and won the what's that called? The Hamilton Cup, whatever the cup is called.
The Grey Cup.
The Heisman?
Grey Cup. There we go. The Grey Cup. Won whatever that cup is that you guys have up there. Won that cup, and then after he won that cup like 5 times, they actually picked him up in Houston, and he played for the Houston Oilers.
Canceled now.
Say it again.
I think the CFL's canceled.
Oh, is that right?
They said if they don't have this season, they can't continue to go on.
Like,
look at that.
Like
over
altogether.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
So I think what Darren's saying.
No, my point is that's where our audience came from. I mean, the additional audience we see grow are the people that kind of quit watching TV 4 or 5 hours a night, 6 hours a night. They get home from work, turn on the TV, and get caught in this drift where you're just taking life as it comes at you.
Absolutely.
And I think that we're trying to pull people out of that, and that's kind of. I mean, it seems inevitable that those things go away the more interested in this stuff you become. And I mean, I'm happy to still go to a hockey game if I can go to a live game. I won't watch it on TV. It's just not going to happen because I think those are the things that we've been kind of distracting ourselves with for the last 20 plus years.
I think what you're saying is valid, man. I mean, I really do. I think that when you, in my view, and it's just my opinion, going to a game versus sitting home watching a game, in my view, is a big difference. If you're going to a game, you're being proactive. You're going to a game, you're also talking to friends and family, and you're doing things that are much more human, and you're also interacting, right? You're there, you're interacting. It's different than just watching TV and going, wow, my team won, or whatever is your thing, or watching the commercial so you can eat the Doritos or whatever is the thing you want to eat. There is definitely a difference between going to any live sporting event with friends and family or whomever you like going them with, or sitting home and watching it yourself. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, even the being in concert live. I mean, I had some crazy experiences just with the crowd and all the energy. And I mean, I cried during whose concert
Elton
was that?
John.
Elton John, the drummer, made me cry. I mean, it was an amazing emotional experience.
You're never going to cry listening to that on DVD.
Well, I might.
Well, you might. You're a crier,
But
that's good. Well, you guys are popular because my audience asked for you.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So this is Sean Hannon. He just posted it on my YouTube page. When New York State / Erie County hosts the 2026 Libertarian Party Convention, will the Grimerica show be broadcasting remotely from the event? See, you've got an invite in 2026 already.
Oh my
to
God.
come to the Libertarian Party convention in 2026. Not too shabby.
That's great.
I love it.
We're trying to get away from politics a little bit. But
the Libertarian Party is constantly emailing me because I was a member for a while. I am no longer a member in good standing of the Freemasons or of the Libertarians, just because. I mean, if I have to pick a party, I still seem to end up back there. But I mean, I guess libertarianism would have been great from the get-go if we would have just done that and stuck with it.
I agree.
But now we're in this situation where we've got crazy fucking mega corporations that I would argue probably wouldn't have happened under standard capitalism. I think that, I mean, people argue that we're in this runaway capitalism sort of phase. And I think that the phase of capitalism that we're in is in some ways a direct result of our government, of poor government decisions.
Not in some way, my friend, completely in that way.
But either way, we're here now. And to just sort of flip it into libertarianism or even like personally, I found, and I used to think the anarchists were crazy. And I find myself more in a volunteerism anarchist camp than anything these days. But the problem is, if we just go to that now, then fucking Walmart's going to run the place, or
no, you're right,
run the place.
Look,
and it doesn't work unless we get some sort of, you know, we're in a fucking mess now. So I don't know a way out of it.
I don't know if you have you ever watched my show. If you have, no worries. Have you ever watched my show?
I have.
So then you know what if you watch it, you know what I often say. I'm not about making us a volunteer society tomorrow. You're right. It's impossible. Literally, we've been under the government boot for decades, and there are so many communities who literally no longer have the institutional knowledge to support themselves anymore, right? We have to now begin to encourage communities to support themselves again, to get that institutional knowledge so they can step up. So my goal has always been the same thing. I just want to turn America towards freedom. We are right now marching directly towards oligarchy. That's what we're doing right now. We are in lockstep marching towards oligarchy.
I would argue you're like well into oligarchy.
Well, yeah, good, valid point. We are marching deeper into oligarchy. How about that? Deeper. We're already in the oligarchy world. We're marching deeper. I'd like us to turn around and start marching our way out. That's what I like to do.
I mean, because the problem is that that's about to switch. I think that oligarchy is in real danger of switching into a fucking nobility over the next couple generations if we're not
careful. You mean official nobility or just basically nobility?
Weird, but I could see it happening sort of in the same way that, you know, I could see it sort of flipping that way over long term. I mean, I really feel like we're at a real fork in the road right now where it could go either way. I mean,
so do you see the possible nobility? When you say nobility, do you mean like that our celebrities are nobility, or that our political elites are nobility, or that our business elites are nobility?
State nobility. I mean, we're doing it in Canada where we got kids of past leaders. The US is doing it now where we're passing the thing down the line from, you know, from you've had a couple of Bushes. The Clintons were kind of Bushes. It seems like
that's what you mean
there too. I don't know what the connections are, but eventually they're just going to stop pretending the Bushes aren't running the fucking show behind the scenes for all these people, in my opinion. And I think that's kind of like I mean, that's kind of where oligarchy leads, and oligarchy is just sort of a weird unofficial nobility.
I would argue that I think if we ever go that route, and I don't think you're wrong in that that's not necessarily a bad take on this, but I would bet that we would go not versus someone who is a political elite, but someone who is a cultural elite, someone who is just so popular that we just follow someone. Like, I'm making it up for sake of argument, like Kardashians or something like that, right? To where we know them so well, or maybe they begin to overlap. If you look at a lot of the politicians now, you have people who have lost, who have run and lost and just still stayed popular. Like Bernie Sanders has lost the presidency, like 9 times or whatever it is. And he still is very popular. And I think he's almost has a cult following in a way. AOC, who, by the way, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is my congressperson, she has
it already, right? I think that's the evidence already. It was never supposed to be that. It was never supposed to be anywhere fucking near that. It was supposed to be like jury duty. Motherfucker, I got Congress. And I think that's one way to fix it, is to go away from elections altogether and just fucking do a draft lottery like jury duty for the whole fucking shebang. And people say, well, then you're going to end up with the dummy here in wherever, fill in the blank, whether it's my House of Parliament or your congressman or for president. And I'm like, that's fine.
But we already got that.
I want a dummy. I want no idea man there. Maybe they're all under fucking 30 because they're not making any decisions. Everything is now going back to a constituent basis, and it's an actual democracy. Now, I'm not saying democracy. I go back and forth on whether democracy is a great idea. I mean, you can kind of look
no,
around
there's
right
problems with
now.
democracy, my friend. You are correct. But in
Mob
my
rule,
view,
I think doesn't work on giant fucking scales,
but it's still the best one we
evidenced
got
right
so
now by a
far.
bunch of vaccine crazy people wanting to chase people like you and me down and fucking jab us with a vaccine we don't want.
That's also true.
And
Yes.
they can now probably vote that into a fucking law if they want. So
They're about to.
I'm fucking on the fence on whether democracy is a great idea, or whether I think I like the idea of democracy, but I think it works better on much smaller scales. So if it was up to me tomorrow, I would dissolve all the unions, the Canadian Union,
Oh my
the
God.
American Union, everything goes back down to states. If you got a federal government, it's for very, very, very fucking limited anything. Maybe helping with the roads and the railroads and defense. That's it.
So hold on. A couple of my people. Hold on. Wait. A couple of my people here are loving who you are. So do me a favor. No, do me a favor. Tell my people who you are. They like you. So tell my people who you are so they can go check you out.
Darren Grimes from the Grimerica show. Grimerica Outlawed today. Actually, this is Grimerica Outlawed.
There we go. So Grimerica Outlawed. Is it like .com, .org? What is it?
.com, GrimericaOutlawed.ca.
There we go. .ca, guys, if you want to check them out.
I can't remember.
Whatever it is.
Just go to .ca, just in case.
Yeah. There we go. It's that. People are asking us, saying, who are these guys? So they like it. What they got? One guy, Brennan, just said, who are these cool guys? So I want to make sure that you get yourself a little bit of a street cred with my people, if that's possible. So yes. Paula just said, yes, best guest ever.
Pretty quick.
We'll
give us another 45 minutes and we're out.
Absolutely. So I think I would dissolve the union so that, and I think this is the way it was meant to be anyway. I mean, the federal government was never supposed to be fucking mandating things.
Correct.
In the States, you have a lot more autonomy from that than we do in Canada.
In theory.
The federal government has a lot more, in theory. I think you're sort of headed away from that quickly.
Yes.
But I think the federal governments have got to fucking go. Like, I mean, I don't see maybe some sort of slight representation for some small things we can figure out. But
but don't you want? Hold on, let me walk down this road, and I'm going to go to the UN here. I'm going to go to the biggest of all the federal governments, right? Of all the federals of the UN. Someone the other day asked me if we should dissolve the UN. And I don't think we should. And let me hear me out before you guys yell at me. Just hear me out before you yell.
Iran as the fucking.
I knew you were going to yell at me. It's why I said, hear me out before you yell at me. I literally knew the second I say that you will yell at me. So I said, hear me out before you yell at me. I think it has to exist for only 2 reasons. And if we could keep it to 2 reasons, then I'm for the UN. Reason number 1, it should be simply a theater for countries and country representatives and groups of representatives to come to yell at each other so they don't have to go to war. It gives them a public way to say, see, I'm against you, and my people can feel I'm against you, and we don't have to drop bombs. So that would be one reason.
Like fully televised or something.
Yes.
So everyone can see that all the time instead of bullshit media.
100%. Yes, that's right. It's basically theater. So I can say, I'm mad at you, and I don't have to drop bombs on you. That's one. And number 2, it should be able to be a stamp of when people are doctors and medical personnel who are walking around the country. Because generally speaking, if you got a UN stamp somewhere and you're a doctor, you tend not to get shot in civil wars. You still might get shot, but the odds are less that you get shot if you're a UN doctor going into civil wars. So if they could stamp doctor helmets, that'd be 1. And then 2, a place to yell at publicly. Then keep UN.
All right, but then we get rid of the WHO.
Yeah, I don't care. We're just stamping stuff. That's all. I don't want them doing it. Just stamping helmets. UN, don't shoot this guy. UN, don't shoot this guy.
Get into that, and I think I could get into the federal government for the same sort of idea, so that the states aren't going to war and stuff. So you have a way to figure things out. You have
absolutely.
You have a military, and maybe you don't have state militaries, because I could see where that could present all sorts of fucking problems.
Oh, you just made a bunch of libertarians mad by saying that now.
Oh yeah, but that could so I could see where you have feds for those slight fucking reasons. But I mean, I'm starting to go back and forth on energy, because like should energy, for example, should that be a public utility? Maybe
because we give away all our money in Alberta to other
provinces.
Yeah, of course.
We could have free energy here, but instead we're giving it out all over the place.
Alaska does the same thing for us too. Alaska does it too. Yeah, and New York, we buy Canadian energy all the time.
So I think if it was like that, then you could have real democracies, and then they could actually not be overbearing for the people involved with them to some extent, because then if it's just like, hopefully, and this is probably a bit idealist, but hopefully if you've got a state that bans abortion and is all sort of backwards like that, you just move over to the next state where everything's kind of, you know what I mean? If you could sort of more repositionable and less centralized, so you could sort of find your communities like we're finding online. Online, we're finding these communities, and so then I think you could have a real great democratic society where you get along with people, and it's not like you guys.
Yeah, but hold on though. Hold on. What happens when you have, and it's a serious issue. What happens when you have state A says, not only do I not want Mexican immigrants in my state, but they pass a law that says if Mexican immigrants come into my state and they are not citizens, the penalty for that is death. We're going to start executing Mexicans who are in our state. So does another state have a legal or moral or anything right to go, whoa, 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 whoa. You can say to throw the Mexicans out, but you can't start execute Mexicans because you don't like Mexicans. How about that?
That's where you could have the sort of UN of the states where they're like, listen, you're being a dick and we're going to have to fucking cut you off here.
Or execution itself is just not allowed. I mean,
but in theory, okay, so
the state can't execute people, but I can execute people for coming into my house unannounced.
Well, that's different, right? That's different also. What if there's a state that says, look, if someone comes to your house unannounced, you can't kill them because you have to give. Hold on. Yes, that's also New York State. That's also New York State. I'm with you. But the state says, look, you can't kill them because you have to give them the benefit of the doubt. They have rights of due process, so you can't just kill them. One state says that, and the other state says, and it was up to your property. Open up, blow them up. Doesn't matter. Drop a bomb on them. Who cares? Grenade launcher. All good.
Well, freedom is scary, Larry.
I'm with you.
Sometimes.
Well, here's the funny part.
But I have to assume that that we're not going to fucking take a hard. I mean, maybe that's where we end up in 50, 100 years. But I mean, right now, if you sort of play out where we're headed right now, 100 years, you're in fucking 1984, like completely. So,
I don't think it's even 100.
No, it could be. We could be there now.
I think we're not there yet. We're almost there.
Boulevard, and it seems like you're there now when you see a 5G transmitter on every fucking tower.
Do you think the 5G is that's the thing that's getting us? Are you one of those guys that thinks 5G is bad?
No, but I think it's just the cell tech in general. I mean,
you don't like cell tech?
Thinking about it, no, I like it. I got a cell. I got an iPhone.
Okay,
but I'm fully aware that when I'm out hunting or doing whatever, that I could very easily be a little dot on a map that says Darren Grimes, and they know exactly where the fuck I am, and probably
I'm pretty sure they do
what I'm listening to, who I'm texting.
And you got this show, so I'm sure they know who you are. You are already on. You're Canadian, and our American NSA already has a folder on you. I am sure of that. They already got a folder on you, my friend.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, things have been getting fucking weird lately.
Absolutely, I'm sure they got a folder on you, no doubt. If I told some boys over there and said, you know this Grimes guy? Oh, Grimes, yeah. He was hunting last week. They're gonna know that. They're gonna say that.
Well, that's what the cell towers and the cell. I mean, I think I don't need to go to COVID causing by 5G to say that 5G is probably not fucking good for you. Just like 4G is probably not good for you. I mean, I work in construction. I've seen the cell guys come in, and when they're putting up the fucking 4G towers on the roofs of the apartment building, they're wearing full fucking hazmat suits. And none of those dudes own microwaves. And it's like, so we know that we've sort of taken on that it's just okay that all these cell signals are probably fucking us up to a slight degree, and they never have to talk about safety studies
can't argue.
The cell companies are this weird sort of thing that you don't even really hear about. I mean, you even hear about people complaining about vaccine this, pharma that. You don't even fucking really hear about the cell people, but they're going around and doing whatever they want. and probably for the elites for this exact purpose.
And censoring, though. Don't forget. I mean, we know people that aren't conspiratorial and they just wrote articles about 5G and boom, gone, fired.
That's
censored.
the thing that drives me crazy, right? When
when
government goes out of their way to not let people speak, you're not making the conspiracy theory go away. You're not making the bad thought go away. You're actually getting more people to go, wait a minute, what you just said. Why did they say no? Now I'm starting to believe it. You're not helping it. If the government's goal is to stop the conspiracy theories that are popping out or stop the alternative theories that are coming out, if that's the goal, that's not working, right? It's failing if that's their goal. It's not working at all. We've spent so much time trying to call everybody crazy that now nobody's crazy. Right? Because if everybody's crazy, nobody's crazy, right? So, because that becomes the norm. And there's so many people I hear who believe in something that is alternative. It's very rare for me to find anybody in my life who does it and say something is not what is the main, what CNN is telling us, right? Everybody I know thinks of something that whatever CNN's telling us is not true. Every single person I know. Most of them don't have 2, 3, or 4 of them, but almost all of them have at least one. At least one, if not more.
Where do you find that? Where do you find what's true, what's not? I mean, once you start opening up the
it's all
can of worms, it's just like you can't believe anything you see on the TV anymore.
I think the 5G does give them like Dark Knight shit though, like Morgan Freeman and Dark Knight.
That's
right.
So you don't even need the cell phone. If Larry doesn't have a cell phone and he's walking down Main Street, it doesn't fucking matter because all the other cell phones are picking you up. And that, I think that's what the full level of complete cell saturation gets us, I think.
So do we just give up? Do we just give up, man? Do we go, you know what? Look, it's done. We lost. The oligarchs, they got us. Let's just wrap this up. It's over. Let's not even try to have privacy anymore. Let's just say they got us, whatever. Live my life. Hope they don't decide to press a button and drone strike me. Let's just do that. And I'll just hope that I can keep going without getting drone striked, by the guy who's going to sell the 5G tower, who's going to call an airstrike on me.
They're going to drone strike you with a jab. That's what, they're going to chase us down for the jab. That's the big question right now is are we going to separate this out for those who don't want to take the jab because they've done some research that some of your audience needs to do, because I did hear them ask you questions about that and they're telling you it's safe. And I would question that and I would just point them to a database with all the official reports and say, don't tell me that 80,000 reactions and 3,000 deaths is safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a percentage there that I'm not comfortable with because I'm safe from COVID, especially if I have vitamin D levels and a bunch of early home therapy, early home cures that show 100% efficacy. I don't need to take a jab. So,
there's some good news though.
Before we decide to leave this privacy sort of tracking state, it's going to be sooner than that. Before they have that set up, we're going to have to decide whether we want to participate in this vaccinated society or not. So, are they going to chase me down with the needle?
I don't think so.
They're going to do that before they drone strike me.
No, I don't think they're going to chase you down at all. And I have it's going to sound crazy, but the Sharpe Way show now has a TikTok. And because I'm supposed to have TikTok, so I do. And by the way, for my people watching, thank you so much for the money you donate. It helps me build out things like my TikTok. So now we have a TikTok. So I literally went out into a park in New York City and I interviewed people. And I asked them questions about this. I literally asked them, these are New York City people. New York City is one of, if not the most liberal city in the country, right? Maybe on the planet, who knows? But it's a liberal city. We all know this. And not one person was like, yes, we should force people to get vaccines. No one. And I must interview, I don't know, half dozen people, a dozen people, whatever I did. I don't remember how many I did. But not one. There's a couple of them on TikTok now. No one said we should. They were like, nope, we should not force. Nope, we should not force. So they're not going to chase us down.
Well,
however,
I don't care what people think. It's the guys that are making this stuff and the guys that are pushing this based on all their fake bullshit that they're the ones that are doing it. I mean, I know people don't want to do it. People are scared to take it themselves, but
yes, what I'm saying is they're not going to physically chase us down. They're just going to make our life miserable if we don't.
Yes.
They're not going to chase you down, but they're going to make you basically live out in the woods if you don't want it.
so many people are going to be dead come next flu season from destroying their immune systems that I think it's going to make the whole thing come crumbling down.
So tell me what your theory is on this. You think that where the actual shots are destroying the immune system, so the flu is going to kill a bunch of us next year?
Well, it's not the flu specifically. It's going to be any other mutant of COVID. I mean, the studies are out now that show that if you've got a vaccine, you're 9 times more likely to get the South African variant. I think pretty soon studies are going to come out that show the exact same thing for the Indian variant. Let's not forget that India that's full of troubles right now started out the biggest fucking vaccine rollout in the history of the planet on January 15th. When they were sitting at about 12 or 13 cases per million people.
They're still under the average
and
per million.
Now they're 20 times that. And it's 4 months or 3 months after they vaccinated, a few 100 million people and stopped giving out ivermectin. Like
they were giving out little packs, right? Little health packs. And they were doing great for the longest time. That little vitamin D in there, little ivermectin, little things like that. Yeah, perfect, right?
Jericho, I got a comment that Jericho says that's not how immunity works. She says immunity you have now is what you've acquired over years and years since birth with vaccines and illness. She's not buying it. She thinks we're going to be good.
Yeah, maybe, but this isn't a standard vaccine. This is now something that is putting synthetic antibodies in you.
You mean the like the J&J AstraZeneca one or the mRNA one?
All of them.
All of them do that.
They're all experimental and they're all doing the same thing. And what they're gonna now the other
well, they're all still in trial. I mean, it says like right there, the trial doesn't end. I mean, there's been no long-term human studies.
Well, there is. It's us.
That's what I mean.
It is. We're the trial.
And if they want to be okay with that, that's fine. And if you want to accept the risk, that's fine. Go do it.
All the animal trials from 10 years ago, when they were trying this stuff, 8-10 years ago, after the last SARS outbreak, all of the animal trials were abandoned because the animals died. So what happens is they gave the animals the treatment, the vaccine, if you want to call it that, and it did a great job of reducing the symptoms, and they went on with their day. Now, what happened the next time they were introduced to a wild coronavirus that came around again, every single animal died. Now, we've got stories coming out of Toronto now from ICU doctors that are saying 3/4 of the people in their ICU have been vaccinated. And we've got the head of the German vaccination development program coming out, putting his career and his reputation on the line to talk about these new technologies are putting in these, or what they're doing is they're putting in these synthetic antibodies to fight COVID-X. And they do a really good job of fighting COVID-X. But what happens is when COVID-Y comes along, the South African strain, which actually seemed to come from the UK, but whatever.
But hold on now. Let me walk down this road. Right, there are a lot of people now. Now you got now it's okay. Now you got my people getting a little upset. They don't like the anti-vaccine talk that much, but it's fine.
That's great.
I'm fine with it. I'm not mad at it at all. But I got to ask you an important question. If it's that bad, if the doctors and or the elites actually know that it's that bad, that literally next year, into what you're saying, literally millions, if not tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people could die, what's the end game here? Why would they? Are they just greedy? What's the reason for them to not care?
I mean, you could start going down the whole elite, the road of all these books they've written, the stuff they've put out in plain sight. We're useless eaters. We need to depopulate. There's overpopulation. I mean, you can go down that road if you want. I mean, it's not hard.
No, I'm not saying to go down anywhere. I'm asking your personal opinion. Do you think it's because they want less people? Do you think it's just the cash? What do you think the reason is?
I think they're idiots. That's what I think.
They're idiots.
They honestly think that they've got it figured out and that they can do the right thing. And so what they're doing is they're causing two problems. The first problem that I mentioned, and you don't have to take my word on it. You can watch the interview with that Geert.
Fandom something.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. And it's the head of the German vaccination program that's come out and started freaking out about this exact problem, that the variants are going to be a problem in vaccinated people. And the reason is there's not going to be any real immune response there because of this technology. So,
the second part.
what second part?
The second part you're getting to. The second part of the problem. They think they're doing well.
And the second part is that he brings up is that you shouldn't just, to use this technology for, say, the measles or something right now would be one thing, because there's not millions of cases of the measles around the world.
Sure.
So you've got a virus that's in suppression. It's not active. It's not all over the place. So you can kind of do this and probably get away with it. The problem with doing it when you've got a COVID that's going crazy and it's wrapping around the world and it's waving up and waving down is it's like you're pissing it off. You're making it mutate. What you're doing is you're backing the virus into.
So hold on, I'm going to walk down this road. So you're telling me that they believe, the elites in our world believe that they're going to give the vaccine. They know there could be problems afterwards, but they don't care because they're going to find the next. They believe that they're smart enough to find the next.
I think they believe
issue.
I think they believe it's a real possibility. And I think if they didn't think it was a real possibility, you wouldn't have seen fucking Bill Gates go on every TV channel in every country around the world and talk about indemnification for 6 months before we had a vaccine. And what did every single fucking country do? They indemnified them. So now
we signed the line.
There's no repercussions for Pfizer, Moderna, nobody. If this vaccine fucks you up, nobody cares. Nobody's going to do anything. So if they thought they had a good product and they weren't greedy and they cared about people, they wouldn't have done that, for one. And now Bill Gates is on TV again because people are saying, hey, wouldn't it help if we just open up the patents on these things and then everyone could start developing them? And he said, no, we can't do that. Well, you know why? Because Bill Gates is going to make fucking tens of billions of dollars off of his investments off of this vaccine. And the indemnification.
But hold on. The thing that I keep hearing from so many people, and they put in my chat too, which is the idea of that supposedly it's depopulation. And you brought that up.
I'm not going that far. I'm not.
You're not.
I will.
We do know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We do know Bill Gates is a eugenicist. We know that his father worked with Margaret Sanger, and we know that there's a real possibility that could be something. He's been caught in India. He's got a reputation of thinking he knows best. But I don't go that far. I don't need to go that far. I think just basic human ignorance, greed, in non-foresight can just get us into this mess where we think something's a good idea. We're
absolutely.
That's on the hopeful end.
But I want to talk to your partner too.
PSYOP, and we're on the verge of World War III.
You are let your boy talk. You want to walk down the depopulation. I want to hear this. Tell me, walk down that road.
Let's just say and it can go from the hopeful part to the unhopeful part. But have you heard them in their marketing presentations talking about how they're going to create a market for their vaccines? So they're in their marketing creations like this. Pfizer, awesome for marketing, right? The best PR people around.
Absolutely true.
They're going to create a market for their marketing. I mean, Bill Gates has said he's made 20 times his investment on vaccines. It's the best investment he's done. So he's putting his money into vaccines as an investment. They warned us about all this. They said it was coming. This is the end of the decade of vaccines, 2020. I mean, a lot of their own plans, their own documents, their own marketing campaigns, they want to jab all the healthy people. Why would you only want to jab sick people, right? They want to jab everybody.
Okay.
So the listeners that are skeptical and have watched the TV telling them that these are safe, because
I was skeptical 10 years ago too.
Okay. And our government does it. Our government is out there telling us it's safe, and they're tracking.
The companies that make them won't even say that.
They're quietly tracking in the background that the deaths and the people that are having adverse effects. And we don't talk about it. The one in the States is VAERS, right? Vaccine Adverse Effects site or whatever. Just go in there, learn how to figure it out. Go in there, take a look, start reading through the thousands of deaths that have happened after this vaccine, and watch the years. You can see the years go by.
All right. I'm going to look. I'm going to look.
You just do like, I mean, we've done hours and hours and hours of research on the stuff. I mean, even Pfizer's own documents say they haven't tested on pregnant people, and Instagram's censoring Pfizer's own data sheets. So I can put Pfizer's data sheet out there that tells you if you've got a blood clotting disorder, like my girlfriend does, or an autoimmune disorder, or if you're pregnant, they haven't done the tests on pregnant people. They haven't done the tests on the kids. They don't know if it's effective. Yep. Where's all the caution right from their own documents that say you shouldn't be taking this jab? My girlfriend shouldn't be taking this jab.
Okay.
She's pressured into taking this jab.
Okay. I got you. I'm glad we walked down that road. Okay.
So that's like where I'm coming from. So what is safe? Is 3,000 deaths so far in the States safe? Is that safe enough? Or 5,000, like, and that's only what, 1%, 10% of people report these. They're not being reported very well. So I don't know. What's safe. It's not safe for me. It might be safe for an 80-year-old. It might be safe for an 80-year-old that wants to live through this strain.
Yeah, but and I think is a valid point, which I brought up in the past, right? If you're in your 80s and you've got a pre-existing condition, you might say, you know what, give me the vaccine, because I may not be here 5 years from now, so I don't care about the rest.
Yeah,
I just want to survive these next couple years, because if I get COVID, I'm dead. I'm the one who gets hurt. But if you're a kid, I don't know why you get the vaccine.
Or if you're 300 pounds, because
that's 300 pounds.
Nobody wants to talk about is 4 out of 5 people that either get hospitalized or die of COVID or are considered obese.
Yes.
Medically obese. Now, I think the obese threshold for medical is a bit, light maybe, but if you're considered medically obese, you've got to watch out. You're in that trouble category. So,
and here's the other thing that really bothers me about this, which does take me down the dark path, because they must know these things, right? Is there's early home care, there's cures already, right? There's the ivermectin, the HCQ, there's a vitamin cocktail that a lot of the doctors are using. They've got a great success. Some of them are saying 100% of my COVID patients have recovered safely on this vitamin cocktail of quercetin, zinc, which acts like HCQ, and vitamin D and vitamin C, like big doses for the first few days of this stuff, and they get over it. And there's all kinds. There's budesonide. There's nebulized hydrogen peroxide.
I got you. I'm with you.
They know they should be giving this to people instead of sending them home and saying, "Wait till you get ill enough till you come to the hospital." There's no like adjustment here to actual studies of what's going to help people, and they know this. So,
no, but I want to walk down a different road real fast. I got people who are giving me a bunch of things, and I want to bring them up, and I bring them up because I think you guys have valid points, and people are concerned, right? And one Gene says they're even saying that people who have already recovered from COVID need to get the vaccine. That to me doesn't make any sense, right? I'm with Gene on that. If you already got COVID, why do you need the vaccine?
They're already planning the third shot.
I mean, hey, our prime minister has already invested in Pfizer till 2024. He's got these updates. Let's call them updates instead of booster shots.
Spending my fucking money.
Yes, I know that feeling very well, my friend. I do. Yes, but David says that we can just do what Democrats do, which is just blame Trump for all the vaccine deaths. That would kind of solve the problem. We just blame him for stuff.
I just start saying that I got my AstraZeneca.
That's a great one.
There we go.
Not yours. I mean, blaming Trump. Let's blame.
I got it when I was down in the States.
Put the thing together there. That warp
Operation
speed.
Warp
Hey,
Speed.
Darren, do you ever wonder why the starting trial date for the Pfizer one is it's April 2020?
I don't know, but it ends.
That's pretty fast, though. How did they start it so quick?
Fast.
In April. How did they get the trial started a month after we declared it a pandemic? I mean, that's fast, right? That's fast. They couldn't have had this ready to go, could they?
And it finished. I know it finishes January 14th, 2023.
2023, yeah.
Let's move on to a different topic. I like that. That was good. I'm happy we went down that road, and you got my people posting and stuff, which I love when they're doing that. So it's awesome. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. But that's what I want. If they're not paying attention, then who cares, right? They gotta be paying attention.
My shirt was triggering people all day.
What's the shirt say? I can't see it.
Oh boy.
It says Fauci gave us all AIDS.
Boo. Oh my God. But I have a couple people asking if you like certain people. Do you like a guy named Viva Fry?
Yes.
I don't even know who that is.
Yes, I
live
really
in
like
a
Viva.
hole for the most part. I don't listen to.
I really like Viva because I've only been listening to him for Viva Fry, the Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and he's really changed his whole I've seen him evolve with the censorship and the data and the fake news and all this kind of stuff. So it's great to see that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So my people like that guy, so they brought him out. I didn't know who he was, but now I'm going to check him out. Thomas put that up, and Thomas watches my show all the time, so I'm actually going to check him out. Thank you, Thomas, for that. I appreciate that. So there was one other person that someone was asking about, if I can find that real fast. They were asking if you like another person. Let me grab this person real fast if I can get it here. And I am a liar. I can't find it, so I'm a liar.
We like
him. But Jean is saying something interesting, which I thought you might find interesting. She says, "Did you know the pyramids were actually power plants? They were built by visiting extraterrestrials. Extraterrestrials. Is that a thing that you guys talk about? Do you go down the pyramid road or no? 100%. I've seen some of your recent stuff, and I have not seen pyramid stuff recently.
Yeah, we do them quite often. I would say, a year, or on our other show for sure, a year, every year or so. I mean, the pyramids. I mean, they're all over the world, right? They're right now. It's kind of, I don't know about the alien thing. I would say my theory now is that there's an advanced civilization prior to the Ice Age, prior to the Younger Dryas, of possibly giants as well. I mean, it gets into all the mythologies and the religions, and they're building pyramids all over the world. There was global travel back then, and they had technologies that we don't know, and they were building these megalithic structures all over the world prior to the end of the Ice Age.
So you think, there's another issue that I know people have been bringing up, and this was, Nick brings this up. He says, extraterrestrials don't actually exist. They're interdimensional beings. Is that a thing? This is something I haven't heard. This to me is new.
I love it. Yeah. That's like what people think is that they're not ETs. I think it's all of the above. It's ETs and interdimensional. And
what? Wait, okay, hold up. Wait, stop. So you're telling me
says it's us going back in time.
That there's whoa. Now, okay, you just do four things. You're telling me that there's ancient civilizations that include giants, there's extraterrestrials, interdimensionals, and time travelers.
Yeah.
Wow, you just answered, yeah. Wow, that's amazing. This is the greatest show I've ever done in my life. There's no question. This is the greatest show ever. You said yes to all four?
Well, I mean, it's all the above. It's usually, for me, it's usually a little bit of all the above. I try not to get too dogmatic and anything like that, but I've had enough experiences and seen enough things that this shit's not like it seems.
I don't think giants made the pyramids. And I don't
You don't think giants made the pyramids?
I think there is aliens, but I don't think they're coming here.
They don't. Why not? Why wouldn't aliens come here?
I don't know.
This is the perfect time to visit a planet, is when we're just about ready to blow ourselves up or leave. I mean, it's the perfect time.
I guess.
I guess they could be our saviors, right?
This is like the tour season. It's like, go see Earth and see if they make it off there or not, because it's getting close.
Do you remember the South Park episode where they said that Earth was just a reality show for aliens?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that episode?
I haven't seen
I don't watch
South. If you ever have a chance, it's actually funny. I don't know if you like South Park at all, but if you do, that was a good show. There was a one South Park episode where the kids actually figure out that Earth is just a reality show for aliens, and they figured out because they decided to cancel Earth. The show's not doing well anymore, so they're gonna cancel Earth. And the kids are like, wait, you can't destroy us. Like, yeah, we're gonna cancel the show. And then
season 2 or whatever.
Yeah, like, no more, you're canceled. And so they have to go and they have to now convince the producers in some other planet to keep the show going because it's all a reality show. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's hilarious.
So let me the part you just brought up though, I want to touch this piece. Aren't you worried that if aliens actually are with us or whatever come to us or whatever talk to us, that they would just completely dominate us, right? So I would see an alien coming to our planet like, I don't know, you or I running across an anthill in the woods. It would be like, whatevs. If it got in the way, I'd crush it. If it didn't, I'd walk around it. If I needed to eat ants because I was hungry, I would eat the ants. It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's
Am I wrong with this logic?
I don't think there's aliens coming here. So.
I think the people would argue against that would be like that they're the people that are out there, ETs have advanced to the point where they don't just crush civilizations. I mean, there's like a prime directive kind of thing going on.
They subtly manipulate them with propaganda.
Yeah, exactly. They take over the world with big pharma.
What is it like? Is it like that movie They Live from the 80s? Is it like that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's They Live and they're all among us.
I don't really do the alien thing.
It's a subtle dark force that takes over your government, basically. Yeah.
Oh, you don't do the alien thing. Why not?
Well, he doesn't.
Well, I'll talk about it. I don't really, like I said, I don't think, I'm sure there's tons of civilizations out there, but I don't think any of them are coming here.
Okay. Okay.
And if they are, I think maybe they are. Maybe once in a blue moon, the chance it's now.
So I keep coming back to this. What do you think we connect with when we go out to make contact? We meditate in the new moon.
You are about to blow Larry's mind.
The new moon, dark sky.
Okay, go ahead. You tell Larry what you guys are.
You're gonna teach me some magic. Go ahead. I want to hear it. Teach me the magic.
There's groups all over the world that are getting together. And they're different types of groups, do different protocols and all that. But there's a couple that called CE5 is the blanket term, close encounters of the fifth kind.
Okay.
So we go out in a circle, meditate, loving intention and all that. And we call the ships down and we see shit. Big flash bulbs, low flying craft. Some people see entities. I haven't seen the entities, but it happens. And
so you can meditate to bring the aliens to you. Yeah. Are these aliens or interdimensional beings? Well, which one are they? Or
both? Both.
See, that's the part I'm not buying that. I'm not. How can it be all of it?
This is what I'm trying to say is what's the Occam's razor when we go out to intentionally find
the Occam's razor the Occam's razor answer is that you've hallucinated or made up in your head.
I love it. So
that's the Occam's razor.
This is what I love. Group hallucinations now are more of a chance of that happening than an actual ET listening to us and communicating with us. You see how crazy that sounds?
No.
So then
that's not crazy at all. No.
So then we go out and we try to contact, but we have group mass hallucinations. And it's fantastic. We all see the same thing sometimes. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's just for one or two people. But sometimes we all see communication happening. Flash bulbs, silent craft flying through the sky past us in low airspace. There's enough there that I've seen enough to be like, okay, I don't need to go out and do that all the time. But what's going on? I don't know.
Well, Sandra reaches out to me.
For the record, I agree with you.
Yeah, see that one. That one I'm struggling.
But we have tons of listeners that agree. We did just see something weird when we did our event down in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Alleged event. Maybe I was there. Maybe I wasn't. Anyway, it's all.
Sandra actually reaches out to me just now, and
crazy to me too.
Hold on, Sandra says biblical Nephilim are giants, aliens are demons. That's what Sandra says.
I know. That's why I be careful when I go out there. I take that into account.
Takes his bow and arrow.
You gonna shoot a demon with a bow?
No.
I got a feeling a demon's not gonna be affected by an arrow. Maybe my demonology is off, but I got a feeling he or she is gonna laugh at an arrow. I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. You don't want to be going out and summon. You don't want to summon shit, right? That you don't know what's gonna come and what's gonna happen.
That's literally the entire background of the movie. What's
it just be
Hellraiser?
Why couldn't it be fairies?
Hellraiser, yeah. Well, it could be. That would be more interdimensional, probably, wouldn't they?
When you went interdimensional, all right.
Maybe it's just some sort of weird bacteria communicating with you that's telepathic.
Oh, it's like the Star Wars midichlorians. Boo! Boo! That was terrible. I'd rather have a Force than midichlorians.
Star Wars? I don't do Star Wars. I think the pyramids were probably built by an ancient human people that knew some shit was coming from space and it was going to wipe out their civilization.
Okay.
And I think all those boxes were filled with seeds.
Ah, so it was grain storage
I mean,
after
if
all.
you go to, what's that place in Egypt?
Look at that.
starts with yes.
Saqqara.
If you go to Saqqara in Egypt and check out some of those things that are down in those tunnels,
It's unbelievable.
that are like 100 tons slid into a spot that's just a little bit bigger all around, and it's got a lid that fits on it so perfectly that it creates a hermetic seal, and the lid weighs fucking 10 tons. And
Wow.
It's made out of granite.
And there's a straight tunnel. You
And
can
there's
drive a
fucking
VW bug
25
down
of
it
them.
like for hundreds and hundreds of meters down the tunnel.
Wow.
These cities,
I could
underground
see it
cities
being
that
a
are
power
massive.
plant,
That
too.
yeah.
It could be something. It was definitely because there isn't any writing in the Great Pyramid either, so it does seem like it was somewhat machine-like. But
There's so many mysteries. It's
So let me walk down a different road here.
Pre-ice age. It's definitely pre-ice age.
I'm going to walk down a totally different road here. And this is Michael who's listening. He says, I love this stuff. I want to know about cyborgs. Soon humans could become extinct and we could become cyborg humans with AI. And this is what I mean by the idea of depopulation, right? This is the one part that I could.
Maybe you already are.
We already are?
Yeah, well, the people that are getting the job, I mean, maybe that's what the update.
The job might have been like
maybe
microorganisms.
not this-
Nano 5G receiver.
Maybe it's not this one, but maybe it's the jab 3.0 that everybody has to go keep getting.
It's the third one that makes us cyborgs?
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, do I get superpowers at least? I mean, at least if I get superpowers, can I be like a super soldier or something? Like have a machine gun come out of my hand or something? I don't know. Maybe that would be kind of cool. But I think this is a fear that a lot of us do have, right? Like the idea that eventually you come up to a point where the AI is running everything so much that what's the use for humans, right?
That's
What's
where
the
elite
need?
would like to get. And I think that's where, if you want to go down that dark path, which I don't like to do because I'm not a black pill guy, I'm a white pill guy. I don't listen to podcasts about that stuff. I don't watch videos about it. I don't even listen to music if it's not positive. I live my life in a very positive manifest sort of way. I don't take in negative stuff. I mean, it comes in because of the podcast and everything else, but I don't listen to other podcasts or watch TV.
Okay.
I read a lot of books and I listen to a ton of audiobooks.
So do you think, I mean, obviously, AI is a thing. Obviously, AI is scary.
Yeah, so if you go down that dark road, that's why they want a bunch of 5G all over the place. Then that's why they don't give a fuck about the side effects, because we're not here to we're here to work so that a bunch of elite families that have been in power for a long time can have a lot of services, a lot of luxuries that are hard to have without a bunch of people. But once you get to the point where you've got enough 5G satellites around so that you can have internet coverage everywhere, so now you can have, and you've got these new robots and everything else. Now, I don't think we're there yet, but you can start to see the point where these people who by their own thing think they have, by their own words, think they have the divine right to rule.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden they've got the ability to do everything we're fucking doing with robots or this or that. And that could be what happens this go around. I'm a firm believer that Earth has had about a dozen go rounds of civilizations, of whether they were humans. The last few were probably human. Before that, there was probably some Denisovian ones. There was probably some Neanderthal ones. But I think we have they can kind of, in the overarching view of things, it could suck short term for the people if we go down that authoritarian road over the next
hold on. No, I want to go back. You used the phrase I don't know. You said Neanderthal, human. What's the other one you said?
Denisovian.
What's Denisovian?
It's just another.
It's another branch
It's another branch of human. They actually had bigger brains than us, looks like, and it's just like another.
So how come none of them, made computers and AI? And
maybe they did. Maybe they did. I mean, have you taken a look at what like Detroit's starting to look like after like 30 years? Where you go around and you find these archaeological sites from like 1,000 years ago and you don't even know anything's there. I mean, if you look at a picture of just the pyramid from Mexico there, Chichen Itza,
right,
and when they found it in the 1800s, you barely know a pyramid's there, and that's only 1,000 years. Add
All right.
10,000, maybe an ice age and things like that to it, and add to the fact that there's a lot of evidence that points to the fact that I don't know if you know about a precessional cycle, which is this it looks like it's either a wobble or an orbit. It's either our solar system's orbiting with another solar system, or the Earth has some sort of weird wobble in it that does a full rotation every 25,920 years. And it's starting to look like halfway through that cycle, every time we run the risk of running into rocks from space. So it really looks like that's what ended the last ice age, because what do you got? 15,000 years ago, every science book says there's over a mile of ice above where I'm sitting right now.
Okay.
10,000 years ago, it's all gone. So now what we're starting to find is a bunch of evidence that what happened to the ice sheets is they were impacted with rocks from space, which caused the giant floods, which created all the beautiful national parks in America, for one, destroyed an entire civilization, brought the ocean level up around 400 feet, maybe even more in some places with isostatic depression.
And isn't that what like sank Atlantis or something, right?
If Atlantis was in the Azores, it could have been, or if Atlantis was just a civilization like ours. If Atlantis was maybe what we call it Earth today, maybe that they called it Atlantis. And you picture now, if we got smashed with a rock from space today,
which happens to be about half the precession anyways from when that happened.
So if we get hit with a rock from space today, there's no more power. There's no more electricity.
Yep.
A bunch of us are probably dead pretty quick if it hits the ocean or something like that. Anyone on the coast, 90% of our population lives within 100 miles of the coast.
Yeah.
So, if shit goes crazy with the ocean and comes up, last time it came up 400 feet. We know that.
All right. So
you don't know what would happen this time, but if you get hit with a rock from space, all of a sudden you got no power. Maybe the sun's blocked out for a couple of years and things go real fucking south. Everyone in a third, and everyone.
You just told me you don't black pill, then you just black pilled the shit out of us. That's what you just did. Am I wrong? I don't black pill. Then so you just look 90% of us are going to be dead, and the rocks crash from the earth and destroy. Wow.
Think about this as an analogy for Atlantis, though, not for what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
And so what happens is, Larry and Darren and Graham and everyone listening to this show is fucking dead. Because I don't care how good of an outdoorsman you think you are. We're built on this layered and layered and layered society on supply chains and everything else. If the power and everything breaks into chaos because the sun's blocked out with dust or shit for a couple of years and crops are failing, you're talking about major, major, major problems. A few people will live.
Of course. Yeah.
Where they're going to find sanctuary are with the people that are as close to source, I guess, for lack of a better word, nature. Like you've got a bunch of tribes in Africa that don't really know the difference between now and 5,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago.
Right.
The same thing all over the Amazon, down in South America. You've got it in a few places in northern Canada.
Sure.
Maybe a few spots are much, much more limited. In the States, maybe, I don't know what the reservation scene is.
No, we're a disaster here. We're in trouble.
But, for the most part, it's those people that are going to survive. And what are they gonna? We're all fucked. If we do live, maybe we find some of these tribes to take us in, and we tell them stories.
You're not blackpilling anybody. I got you.
And then the tribes that are around just sort of talk about this civilization that used to fly around and do this and do that, and they called it Earth. I don't know what the fuck Earth means. That's just what they called it, and that's what I think Atlantis was.
Let me. I got some people giving us some books we should read. One of them is a book called The Singularity is Near.
Yeah, I've read that.
And another one is Homo Deus.
Who's that by?
I don't remember who that's by, but that's basically saying how humans are going to become like not Homo sapien, but Homo Deity or Homo God. They're going to become like that.
Stuff. I think that they're leaving out a big part of humanity.
And I think it's already happened. I mean, there's also a whole faction of people that we talk to that think, and I'm sort of one. I believe in this too, really, is I've seen a UFO in 1990 in Israel that was incredible.
Okay.
And I think there's a breakaway civilization that are flying these, and maybe they're back engineered craft. Maybe they're just, they've been around for way longer than we think. I mean, there's UFOs from the 1800s, a lot of there was a whole airship phenomena in the 1800s. But there's these huge black triangles flying around. And I think
black triangles.
There's
Okay.
already a part of human society that is flying these things around. It's a breakaway part of our civilization.
So wait. Let me walk down this one. This is, you give me some new stuff. You can't just say stuff like that. Remember, I'm not one of your normal guys who's talking this stuff. You got to help me out on this one.
Because this is perfect to fit in with your AI.
Because so you're telling me that there are already people who are a breakaway from humans.
From us, our society, not humans.
Oh, okay. So they're not genetically different yet. They are still genetically humans.
Well, they're just genetically different. They might be genetically different. I don't know. I mean, it depends on how far ahead the technology is. I mean,
okay. So we actually are at the cyborg level.
The breakaway civilization is. I mean, they're probably flying.
We've already
flying
broken
to
away from some
moon bases and who knows what else. But there's a bunch of these huge black triangles, and they're not all ET craft. There's a bunch of human craft flying around.
So there's humans who've broken away from the mainstream of humanity.
Yeah.
They are flying giant black triangles around, and they have bases on the moon. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay.
When you say it
yeah, I know. When you say it back to me like that.
What?
I mean,
it's what you just said. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, that's, yeah, dude. I
okay.
mean, thousands of sightings of these triangles. I mean,
okay.
And the one I saw was a polygonal shape.
But I have to ask an important question. If that's true, you look at what humans usually do, and not always, but usually. If I'm part of this breakaway moon base triangle flying people, if I'm part of that, aren't I going to want to say, why are these plebes around? Why don't we get rid of them? They might find out about us. Yeah, and they might try to stop us because these guys have like nuclear weapons and stuff. Yeah, and I don't want to have a fight with these guys. I mean, we'll beat them because we're superior, but we might take some casualties in the war we fight that will destroy them.
Fucking plebs will wreck the planet.
I like how you keep going back to this. I mean, you're going back to the depopulation thing. And I mean, it really does. It does sort of lead back there. It really does. They're written enough in their books, and they've also, like you said, I mean, they don't want us.
Okay, but why don't they just eradicate us, right? Why don't they just start the camps and start eradicating us? Why aren't they doing the
fight back?
Why aren't they doing the
with us fighting back?
Yeah,
I don't think
war.
It's a breakaway. I don't think it's a breakaway as much as he does.
Okay,
I think it's more that's the reason they just got to subtly kill us off at this.
Because we'll fight back. They need to brainwash us first. Get as many people on board as possible.
You know what I mean? We're still the nine.
But when you look back at, I mean, history. I mean, this genocides happen over and over and over. And I don't.
That's my point, right? Yes, I mean, we killed the Neanderthals supposedly. Supposedly, we try to kill our own people to the best of our ability. We've done a lot of killing. I mean, that's kind of our thing.
Oh yeah, we're fucking great at it.
Yes, it's kind of what our thing.
Like the only species that'll like kill people slowly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a real special thing we got.
What I am seeing in my chat is a lot of people who have linked aliens to the supernatural, not to interdimensional, but aliens. If they're good, they are angels. If they're evil, they are demons.
That's interesting.
I have seen that's happening in my chat more than one. I just showed another one. Ivanson just said it too. It's happened 2 or 3 times already. They're linking them not to extraterrestrial, not to interdimensional, but instead of supernatural. Yeah. Is that a thing, or are my people oddballs? Are they the only ones saying this?
No. That's a growing sentiment, I think. Yeah, it's getting more that way, I would say.
Is that just a Christian sentiment, or does it fit into?
It fits into other ones, I think, too. You know,
I mean, almost all civilizations have some form of angel-demon relationship in some way, shape, or form, or evil God versus good God in some way. But the vast majority of Christians do believe in angels and demons. The vast majority do. I was raised on angels and demons, and I assume that's true. But does that mean then that the average person says, if there are angels and demons, then there are no aliens? And that's what my chat is saying.
Yeah,
they're not saying they're like, if I ask you, you're going to say all of them. I know you're going to say that. That is crystal clear what you're going to say. My chat is not saying that. My chat is saying either or. Where do you stand on that? Like, is that a thing? Is that not a thing?
Yeah, because I think there's correlations with abductions and people getting abducted, and you know that bleeds into way back myths and legends of and this is reality right now for contemporary culture is incubus and succubus and old hag and demonic encounters at night and abductions and the fairies. I mean, we've been abducted by different things all the way through our culture over the thousands of years. And it's still happening right now. And people are associating that. Some people are associating that with demons, but some people also like it and they think it's enlightening and they think it's they turn into contactees afterwards.
Hold on, they like being abducted.
Well, it turns into being an enlightening thing for a lot of people. A lot of people get through the fear part of it, and then they realize that and then that bleeds back into the whole secret breakaway civilization and the military abductions.
Okay, so hold on. So, if I get abducted by an alien, there is a chance that I will get to meet the breakaway humans.
Yes.
See, because Michael asked that. Michael was asking about how do you get to meet the breakaway humans. And I'm going
off of like researchers I've talked to. Like, I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know 100%, but I'm just saying what the theories are, what the memes are about that, right? Yes, you can meet the people, the men in black, or the people that are in the MyLabs. There's military people in the MyLabs that are part of this that people see in their
how come, and this is the thing, how come I was never, and I'm like bothered by this now. How come I was never able to get into the cool MyLab stuff? I was a Marine. I had top secret clearance. I was in intelligence. I dealt with some stuff I shouldn't have dealt with. How come they didn't invite me into the MyLabs? Now I'm like insulted.
I know. Yeah. I mean,
maybe they did, but then they just shot you with the thing that.
Maybe they men in blacked me. That's what happened. I probably said no because the CIA also recruited me, and I said no to them too. So maybe that was my recruitment, and then they just men in blacked me, and that was it.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I mean that's possible. I guess that's how, because Adam wants to meet the moon guys. So now we know how. You have to get abducted, Adam, and then when the aliens abduct you, don't get angry. Be okay with it. And then maybe you get to meet the cool moon people. That's not bad. I mean, I like the idea.
And the other thing that fits in with them is the people that have psychedelic experiences and on ayahuasca and DMT, and they see these entities as well. They see the same entities that people see when they're abducted, or when they have supposed ET encounters. So does that mean that if you see them when you're on psychedelics, is that interdimensional and not ET, or is it still a demonic thing?
But doesn't science dictate though, right? Doesn't science dictate that if they are interdimensional beings or extraterrestrials, that my state of mind shouldn't matter, right? If there is an apple in front of me, then there is an apple in front of me. No, whether I'm high or whether I'm not high, I still have an apple in front of me, right?
You think your mind is, I guess.
Say it again.
Consciousness always matters. I mean, go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, consciousness.
I mean, it always comes down to that. I mean, it always comes down to that.
Nothing exists without consciousness. Yes, I'm still conscious either way, right? I'm conscious whether I'm drunk or high or relatively sober or any mix of any of those things, whether I'm on shrooms.
DMT is different. DMT is different because it's DMT and ayahuasca and even psilocybin. I think there's like an intimate relationship with us there, almost from an evolutionary standpoint.
Tell me about DMT.
The thing is DMT is in everything, and it's produced by the human body. We still don't know what or why. It seems like there's a bunch of it when you're born and a bunch more when you die, and it could or could not be responsible for your dreaming. And now this is a substance that we can extract, and we can either drink it in a potion or we can smoke it. And
you can smoke DMT.
Yeah, and it causes insanely, not just crazy hallucinations, but in crazy amounts of self-discovery, self-searching.
How does one get DMT? Is this like on the dark web or something?
No, you just have to know cool people.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, I like that. I don't know enough cool people there for sure.
Most people won't sell it. It's not like a drug. It's not treated like a drug. Usually when someone has DMT, and if you're like, you want to smoke some DMT, they're like, maybe you can come by my house and I'll take you on a trip. But it's not something you can be sending Larry home from the corner with, because I mean, this isn't it's not something Larry's going to want to go back for. I mean, I smoked DMT here and there. The last time I smoked it was over a year ago, and I'm not in any fucking hurry to do it again soon. But
because it destroys your
destroys your sense of ego and self,
rips apart your whole state of being in a way, and puts it back together.
The closest I could describe smoking a breakthrough amount of DMT as somebody who's never done it is like getting, I guess it feels like you die and then you come back. And
that doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, it's not fun all the time. It's not like yay, let's smoke DMT. It's like, whew, okay, are we doing this today?
So why would you do it then? Like, what would make you decide to go do this?
Probably one of the most profound experiences of my life, to realize that all that is just right there. And there's a lot of introspection involved, probably for a couple days after you're sort of reintegrating everything. You're looking at everything from a more selfless sort of point of view.
Okay, but hold on. Let me. I really like this DMT idea. So
yeah, you should. It's super. It's. I would say that, I mean, DMT is one thing. I think ayahuasca is a better. I haven't had the opportunity to do ayahuasca yet, but because it's harder to come by. But I think that's more of a shamanistic experience. DMT is more of a mainline, slap you in the face. I mean, I still got a lot of my experiences.
But some people don't get as much.
I think there's just as much, and I think there's more of a connection with psilocybin. But I mean, that being said, you go down to Peru and you ask the shamans who work with ayahuasca, they've been doing it for thousands of years. And when you ask them how they figured it out, they say the plants told them.
The plants told them. Okay.
Yeah. And for them, that's a coming of age sort of thing, which is something I think our society is missing, is sort of those initiations into adulthood. So but I think the mushroom is growing up much more in tandem with us. I think, there's evidence that the mushrooms could even help to take our brain to different levels, because I mean, they're using now the mushrooms that used to be considered a drug and stuff like that. I mean, they're not fun to take at a party in my experience. They're more.
No, I get it. And look, I'm a veteran, as I said, and there are a lot of people who are. Yeah, they're dealing with PTSD. They're helping our veterans out tremendously. I absolutely get that. Yes. A guy, Running Bear, he says they can extract it from mimosa and is it acacia root bark? Did I pronounce that right?
Acacia.
Acacia. Thank you. Acacia.
Which is funny
Thank
because isn't the burning bush that Moses got involved with an acacia tree or something like that?
So he got some DMT.
Maybe.
Look at that.
He
was smoking. Moses was smoking DMT.
Is Running Bear an Indian?
I don't know. It just says Running Bear. I don't know. I don't know the names of. They have their whatever name they want. I don't know if Running Bear is Native American or not. I don't know. Or is it First Nation is what you guys call it in Canada, right? First Nation.
I call it Indian. I consider myself an Indian. I mean, that's what it's been my whole life. If I look at my status card, which I just renewed in 2019, it still says registered Indian from Indian Affairs of Canada. So they could say whatever he wants on the television. My card still says registered Indian.
Got it. Jeff says everything they've said so far has just been encapsulated into 3 letters. DMT. That's what he just said. So yes. So you got some people here who are like, yeah, I guess that they're into the DMT stuff. I love it. This is new. This is new for me. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy to hear this. So if I could, we did aliens. We did breakaway humans.
Most of the old, the people that we broke away from, or whether they broke away from us, or just if you look at the Native Americans, I guess, I don't know if Indians frowned upon in the States, but anyway, the Native Americans have their peyote.
Mm-hmm.
The Peruvians and the South Americans have their ayahuasca. If you go over to Hawaii, they got their thing. Over in the Eastern Europe, they're licking toads and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Native Australians they might have been doing toads too, but you start looking around and then there's psilocybin mushrooms all over the place. And all of these ancient cultures seem to have a very close relationship with those substances that seems to be one of the real things we've lost. But I mean, that's more from a shamanistic point of view. I think there's a lot to be learned from these things that people would call drugs or psychedelics.
Okay. You're not going to have libertarians be upset at you about wanting to do psychedelics. It's one of our things. We are totally on board. I want to go someplace else though. Someone asked,
visit Larry, and I'll take you for a trip.
I love it. I guess I got it. Maybe next year I'll go to Canada. Let's do it.
Right now we won't let you in, but maybe I'll try giving you a note or something. We'll say it's essential.
Oh, there we go. I'll be an essential worker.
Doing some energy work. Yeah, we're still doing energy work.
Adam asks, what about flat Earth? Do you guys deal with the Flat Earth Society? I saw the special on, I guess, was Netflix about it, and it showed how there's a massive community of people who really love this. It's a really important part of their life. It's important what they do. They have their conventions. It's a big deal. Do you guys deal with the Flat Earth Society or no?
No, we had a person on to talk about it, but it didn't go very well.
Degenerated.
It's just, to me, it's one of those ones that it's not as important in a way. I mean, I know they will hate hearing that because they think it's important, but
sure,
to me, there's so many other things and real conspiracies, and that's too big for me. I can't get into it. It's too big. It's like sometimes.
So to be clear,
human on the planet is okay, but flat Earth, no way.
That's what I'm saying. So saying that there's a breakaway group of humans who fly black boxes and have a moon base, that you're good with. But flat Earth,
there's a plethora
that's too
of
far
evidence for that. There's a plethora of evidence for that. I know like maybe 4 or 5 people personally that have seen these big black triangles. So.
Okay.
Well, it's not like there's an ice wall around the flat Earth and there's no space and we're under a firmament. I mean, I can't get there yet. I mean,
I don't think flat earthers are real even.
Maybe, I mean, I think it's a bit of a psyop.
I don't think flat earthers are real. I think it's a part psyop maybe, but I think more than anything, it was like someone fucking around and realizing they could make a bunch of money.
But there are some strange maps and there are some strange.
Oh, no. I love what you just said because my chat has been bringing this up also. I didn't bring it up because I didn't think you were there, but you are there. And that is, you talk about psyops. And the part of this that I really believe.
You probably did some psyops, didn't you, Larry?
I did not. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. So it doesn't matter what I answer, does it? So my answer is irrelevant. But for the record, no. But whatever.
Relevant, no.
For the record, no. But I'm just saying it doesn't really matter what I say. You won't believe me. But my point is, I do completely see how if I'm trying to either make a buck, to your point, or not make a buck, but try to gain popularity or to help kind of tear things up, I could literally add my own conspiracy theories into other theories that may be real so that I can sow doubt and problems and issues and makes everything seem fake. But I got to tell you, I think the opposite is happening. I have never done anything like this type of show ever. And I've been doing this almost 2 years. So I've never done anything in this world at all. I did it because I met you guys and my people asked about it a bit. And I thought, let's do it, right? But half of my audience is like, yeah, that one. Oh, yeah, that one. Oh, yeah, that one. So I feel like we've gone so far trying to, I think, stop believing in them in a way that I think everyone believes in something. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, wasn't 9/11 kind of a big eye opener when they like crashed some planes into some buildings? So you get a couple of planes that get hijacked by a couple of schmucks that somehow managed to fly around unmolested through some of the heaviestly secured airspaces on the planet, crash into some towers, completely obliterate them.
Right after people shorted some stocks in airlines and got insurance renewals on the towers. I mean, the bullet points go on and on and on.
The day after What was it? Rumsfeld came out and talked about the war on waste, the $2.3 trillion.
Mhm.
And did we mention that one of those planes actually hit the Naval Accounting Office where they were working on finding the $2.3 trillion?
So
Now, whether or not that was a plane remains to be seen. But my point is, they found the fucking passport by the afternoon. I mean, I think that's kind of when we seen the point that they were fucking with us.
So let me hit another piece, right? The idea of psyops, I get that completely. But is there another piece? Meaning, once like kind of the scale has fallen from your eye, right?
Yes.
Like once you say, man, I think 9/11 may not be what they tell us, or I think maybe vaccines may not be what they tell us, or I think the one thing may not be what they tell us. Do I now become more open to like believe anything?
Well, what it is you start checking into everything and you start reading things and you start, and it just sort of, you once you open yourselves up to the fact that they might be fucking with us, and it might all be, a lot of it might be fake. Like, I think the part of it is that whole Atlantis side of things, right? I mean, this is a point where I think
that's why it all bleeds into each other,
where there is the chance that maybe it's just a lot of ignorance and the history they treat us as just, an accident. But I mean, they found Göbekli Tepe now. They found that shit, and they know it was intentionally buried over 10,000 years ago.
I don't know what that is. Help me out.
So Göbekli Tepe is a structure they found in Turkey,
megalithic site.
A megalithic site, and what they've found some. There's a bunch of pillars. It's a whole giant thing. One of the biggest ones they found. And the funny thing about it is some of the carving is very similar to the stuff you see on Easter Island. But anyway, all that aside, they find Göbekli Tepe and they find that this was buried. And what they find is that the reason they know it was buried is because while they're excavating it, they're finding like trash, like some so they could see that all over the place that they've been burying this place, which ties into my pyramid theory that there was a race of people or people that knew shit was going down. What would you do to try and save your stuff for future people to find? Maybe you bury it. Anyway, all that aside, we found Göbekli Tepe now, and we know it was intentionally buried over 10,000 years ago. But in school, my kids don't learn about that. I mean, we're still not talking about that, as we're still teaching this conventional timeline that the pyramids were made 2,500 years ago. And so we're not bringing any of that up, and we don't seem eager to change it. Now, some of that could be just how slow things move, but you got to start to wonder if that is the case, because the further I get down this sort of road and the more people I talk to and the more books I read, it starts to seem more like this history thing is fucking bullshit. And
so let me not just talk history here
around the whole Roman
Hold
Empire.
on, I want to go because someone just posted here that they believe religion is going away. So he's what he says. So I believe that people are trying to replace it with ridiculous stuff like flat Earth. But I want to keep going there because you said people aren't believing history. Are people also not believing in like our institutions? Are they not believing in organized religion? Is all of that happening so that now they're open to these other things? Is this filling a gap?
Yeah, that's like, I think it is filling a gap. But I mean, I was going to mention,
I think just in the age of information, they can't keep a lid on some of this stuff.
I don't know.
Anymore.
I mean, I read the paper in Obama's first year. I think it was Cass Sunstein wrote a paper on conspiracies and how the government should deal with conspiracies. We narrated it for our show a little while ago, and that's pretty eye-opening if you want to know how the government actually is. A Harvard paper. Just search Cass Sunstein Harvard paper on conspiracies, and it'll tell you
199, I think,
what they were thinking about and how they infiltrate. Do they let it go? Do they try and stop it? Do they inject their own conspiracies into it as a psyop? I mean, they talk about all this stuff openly in these papers. But
so this has been a thing for a while.
Yeah, and that was 2008. So now, 13 years later, we're in the biggest conspiracy of our life, watching this slow car crash.
Maybe,
but. Like my sister always questions me on this stuff, and I tell her that I don't know what the answers are quite often, but I know that that's not true, right? You can easily debunk and deconstruct what the media is telling you just by looking at the official documents. I mean, whether it's the FDA or the CDC or Health Canada or the Cass Sunstein paper or these other things. But I mean, that doesn't mean I have the answers for all this stuff, but you can see what's wrong, not necessarily what's
Look at the
true.
Gulf of Tonkin. I mean, now we just know that was bullshit. They
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Over some bullshit. And if you really start looking at World War II, I mean, you're gonna have a real fucking hard time convincing me that Roosevelt didn't know full fucking well Pearl Harbor was about to get attacked. You kind of like cornered the Japanese into that. And then not only that, then on December 8th or whatever it is, you declare war. And then you say, okay, we're gonna fuck up Japan, but Europe first. We're going to do Europe first. And then you fuck around in the Pacific for 2 years before you even think about going to Europe. And when do you actually go to Europe? You go to Europe when it becomes super apparent that the Soviets are coming at Germany fucking hard all the way to Berlin. All of a sudden, 6 months later, you're into Berlin now doing Project Paperclip, which we call taking Nazi scientists for the Soviet. So the Soviets don't get them. But I mean, what it starts to look like when you're with a 70-year or an 80-year hindsight,
looking back at it,
when you've seen regime change and you've seen extractions, it starts to look like a classic extraction where it's like, holy fuck, the Soviets are coming, we got to go get our boys up. And then you got Werner von Braun that suddenly is taking you to the moon and all sorts of weird shit happening. And I mean, it's definitely so it's just you start looking at the wars and it seems like they're not the regular thing and they're kind of fake, the whole not saying they didn't happen, but the reasons we got into them and how things played out after them and how Preston Bush is involved in that. And then, his kid and his Prescott and his kid and his grandkid both end up running the country now.
Become president. Sure. I've heard that before.
Part of Project Paperclip and supported the Nazis. So now I'm not going to go down those rabbit holes right now, but just there's a giant fucking bunch of red flags around World War II. We know Vietnam started over some bullshit.
You're not going to get me to say that we should have gone to war in any of those things. You're not going to get me to say any of that. I'm with you. I'm not going to say
fake news now, and I'm saying fake news now. The news has been fake the whole fucking time. And whenever a new little newspaper or a new little this or a new little that pops up that's not going to be part of the program, it just gets bought. And that's what we're seeing on the internet now with Google and everything else. It's already happened with the TV stations, right? You got 5 companies own everything. We don't know if there's more, if it goes higher than that, but we know what we can see publicly. 5 companies own every TV station, news station, fucking all of it. And it could go to less than that at the top. And you got the same, now you got an Amazon where you've quietly got some guy who's taken over most of global shipping and the supply chain. And you've got these sort of, it's just, it's all fake. It's
all right.
All fake.
I want to go down one more road if I can. I know I'm keeping you guys for a long time. You said only an hour. I'm keeping you a little bit longer.
We got another half
this is
hour.
Good. This is good. Yeah.
We got another half hour.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Adam asks, he wants me to ask you about shadow people. I don't know what that is. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah. I have friends that experience.
Of course you do.
She calls them. I mean, she calls it the bad man. Sometimes it's the demon guy, and she has encounters in the middle of the night with this being that attacks her. And sometimes it can be considered a shadow man. I think the shadow man could also be other things where people see shadow man outside, this type of thing. But yeah, it's
so is the shadow man? Is that the interdimensional being? Is that what that means by that? The interdimensional piece is hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, I get the idea of the extraterrestrial. I totally get that.
Yeah,
I get the idea of the angel or demon. Totally get that. The interdimensional piece is what is hard for me to wrap my head around. Is that like shadow people? Is that interdimensional?
Yeah, I would say it's probably closer to that. Yeah. I mean, when you start going down that rabbit hole, it's interesting because the government's been interested in portals, and there's been areas where they've done research into high strangeness on people's farms.
So I'm assuming a portal is a way you can enter the other dimension.
Yeah. So, I mean, the government's been interested in portals for a long time. They've been studying them. And so this is like legit. I know it's hard to wrap your head around it, but when you start getting into that, there's literal portals.
Okay, but my issue here is there's a portal to the dimension. How do I, as this dimensional being, survive in the other dimension? Right? I mean, I'm assuming the other dimension doesn't have the same things that I need. It doesn't have the whatever gravity or oxygen or whatever, right?
I don't know if you can physically go through it. I'm thinking more of other things coming through to our side. I don't know if you want to, you can go to other dimensions through your astral self. I mean, lucid dreaming and out of body experiences and near death experiences. And all those are different layers, I think, of the other realms that you could say they're interdimensional. But I would say if you see, I mean, I'm not going to run through a portal and expect to survive. I mean, I just would sit around the portal and wait to see what comes through. I mean,
we should practice running through walls with you one day.
Yeah. That would be funny. Missy says, I've seen shadow people about 5 different times. It's so shocking and creepy, but they've never tried to get at me or anything.
That's
just
great.
Existed with some evil, some not. Paranormal studies this. That's her response.
Yeah, a lot of studies, a lot of people talk about the shadow people, and Jesus is actually a lot of the advice you get for dealing with incubus and succubus encounters and shadow people and demonic attacks is saying, like, in the name of Jesus, leave me alone type thing. And that seems to work for a lot of people.
Huh. Sandra says a great documentary is Dark Side of the Moon, the Stanley Kubrick story.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't seen.
Oh yeah, I don't think we went to the moon. Nope.
We didn't go to the moon, but yes, we did. Your boy just told me they got a moon base.
He thinks we went to the moon. I think there's a chance that if we did go to the moon, it was maybe the last go around, not this go around. But I think they faked that shit straight up.
Okay. So if I'm clear, then
this is the finishing the World War II thing, right? Because it's kind of funny how, like where I left off, the U.S. specifically doesn't actually touch Europe until it's abundantly clear the Soviets are going to run rimshot over all of it.
Okay.
And then like 2 seconds later, you're at war with Soviets. And I forget.
After the war, you mean? And then the moon. So then they bankrupt.
So they used the moon thing to start bankrupting the Soviet Union, I think. I mean, you know what? I went back and forth on the moon thing for years. I was on, I was off, I was on, I was off. And then it was just like, I was at home bored on a Friday night. And just for fun, because I don't really watch TV, but I threw on, I was at my buddy's house staying there, and he had the dish that has the movies. So I see the movie First Man. And I think it's the one about Neil Armstrong.
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
And it's just the way they got to the moon and they just took off the first time and hooked up and came home. And I just, for some reason, that fucking hit me again. And I was like, wait a second. So like fucking 100 people die getting off the planet. Just to get into orbit, get into space, get around, do an orbit. Maybe they did go around the moon, maybe they didn't, but 100 people or so die to get us there, right?
Yep.
Then we dropped a craft on a random heavenly body with an atmosphere we haven't actually, we've read it, we know there's probably nothing there, but we've never actually fucking been there. We've got a lot of calculations on what the gravity should be, but we've never actually fucking been there. And we've got a lot of things. So
hold on.
First fucking time we get.
Hold on. I got you. You don't gotta this a rabbit hole you don't gotta go down. I got you.
Okay. You're gonna tell me
No, what I'm telling you is I love this because my audience is giving me more stuff. Gene says a shadow person walked around a shop I used to work at in a local mall. I bumped into him/her once. My arm got cold and tingly where we touched. Maybe the shadow had a hot flash when we touched. She's joking on that part, obviously. But I just think I'm thoroughly impressed and amazed that many people who watch my show, who I don't talk about this, are like, yeah, this and yeah, that, like they're like, yeah, this happened and that happened.
Okay, this is what happens, right? We started opening up and reading listener emails and connecting with people that had UFO sightings and all these experiences, and there's so many people, and now they're finally free to talk about it. For years, they don't want to talk about it. So you start finding everybody has a loved one they know that's been through this, or they've done it themselves. They've experienced whatever it is, whether it's a psychedelic experience or a UFO or a shadow man or Bigfoot or lucid dreaming, OBE, NDE. I mean, it's all over the place.
But you guys like live in this world. And I mean,
have you ever heard Neil Armstrong's speech there at the White House there at the end?
You just can't, you can't get off this moon thing. All I'm saying is, you live in this world. To me, this seems like almost, and take this with the way, I take it in a way that says, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
The world you live in seems like a world I'd be afraid to live in. Like I don't think I'd want to live in that world. I feel like, oh my God, everything I thought was true is not true. Everything that I believed in is not to be believed in. Like, I don't want to live. I'd rather live in my family. I want to go back into the Matrix. Like, I don't want to live outside the Matrix. I want to go back in.
Once you're out, you just like, you can't even believe you're in. I mean, the big one is just like the big one is just unplugging from the TV and the movies. And I'm not mean everyone or all the time. I have a couple shows. I like to watch The Office, and I like Parks and Rec, and I like Arrested Development. I don't really venture much past those three because I know what I got there, and it takes me like a year and a half or 2 years to get through them all. So, and what the TV is the big one, because like for me personally, it was when I read Jordan Peterson's book. That was kind of the kick in the nuts for me. And the way he put it was just like, decide how much time you're wasting in a day and times it by 365. And then, you know, take an arbitrary number like $20 and times it by that. And that's how much, you know, potentiality you're sort of wasting. And you don't have to do it with money. You just have to do it with time. And at the time, I'm watching 4 or 5 hours of TV a day, right? Because there's a hockey game every 2 or 3 days. That's 3.5 hours. Maybe a movie with the missus. You know, a couple of shows in the news. Very quickly up to 5-6 hours, right? Especially if you factor in the weekends.
Well, you've just brought up a point that Stephen just brought. Stephen just said, Larry, look at the world you're living in now. So it's basically what you're saying. You're saying, I may not like your world, but should I even like mine? Maybe I shouldn't like mine either.
Yeah, it becomes this thing where, you know, you're wasting just thousands of hours a year on television, which I would argue is, you know, just a distraction from life. And that's sort of just that main sort of thing. Like once you get outside of that, I mean, it's all sort of downhill or uphill or whatever you want to call it from there. But it's just this fucking telescreen in the house that's stealing everyone's potential.
And we balance it out by, I mean, I do like meditate. I have a meditative practice, and I got clean and sober like 13 years ago. And
congratulations, brother. Congratulations.
We talk about new thought a lot and manifesting our destiny and all kinds of potential from a spiritual aspect. I mean, I think that we're conscious,
probably some of the happiest people you'd ever meet.
We're conscious of not letting that stuff drag us down and trying to approach it from a non-attached appreciation, like the Buddhists would say, right?
Sure.
Like I can see this stuff but not let it attach to me and try and have a positive attitude and take care of ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually.
You know, I had a friend who was a Buddhist monk. And we had conversations about things, the attachments and things like that often. Yeah. And I get that. I totally understand that concept completely.
Well, it's not just that. It's like if you're not, and Larry, I don't think you're in too bad of a spot. I mean, just the fact that you're doing this show all the time instead of just numbed out to everything is sort of it's a big step in the right direction. I mean, I don't think most people are living their life. I think most people are just caught in the drift.
I would agree completely.
In the drift. And if you're not, like, I get out of bed and I'm excited, man. I mean, I got a day job I got to go to still. I don't know for how much longer, but right now I got a day job I got to go to, and I got problems in my life. It's not perfect.
Sure, of course.
By any fucking stretch of the imagination. I got an ex-wife. I got fucking problems, but I still get out of bed fucking 99 days out of 100, fucking eager to take on the day. I'm
with you, brother.
Live my life.
Let me tell you.
I understand people that are doing it any other way. Like,
let me tell you two things that you may enjoy.
Why? What's the point?
Let me go.
Then why not change something?
Let me go. I got you. Let me go. Two things I want to bring up. One, my day job now is heavily based upon coaching now, because I last year I couldn't go out because my governor wouldn't let me go out. My Lord and Master, King Andrew Cuomo II, wouldn't allow me to leave because I was deemed non-essential. I was an invalid plebe, so I couldn't go. So once that happened, I had to go spend most of my time coaching, and I spent a lot of my time doing that we just talked about, helping people to move to that next step, asking what they're doing and moving them towards something, instead of having them either allowing their life to be run by inertia or always running away from something and never marching towards something, right? I bring that up often. so that people don't just, as Steve Nielsen just brought up, stop drifting. I agree completely. But the second piece, I was talking to a woman friend of mine years ago, and I said, every day for me, I'm at war. And she said, oh my God, that's terrible. And I said, no, it's glorious. That's why I get up in the morning, because the war's not over. When the war is over, put me in a box. I'm done. I'm still fighting the war every day. I'm trying to make change, make things better. I'm fighting the war every day. So when I get up in the morning, I'm like you, my friend. I get up and I'm ready to go. I get up, I have a calendar, I know what I'm doing that day, and I get up to go do stuff because I'm still fighting the war. The war's not over yet.
You're building your own pyramid. You got shit to do.
Absolutely.
How much better is that than like, oh fuck, Friends tonight?
Yes.
Or the Phillies are in town.
Yes.
You know, like, so that emotion that some of the people that are in a different place on their journey, maybe they have to watch a baseball game to get excited.
Right.
I don't need to, man. I just need to wake up in the morning and know I got a couple things to do, and I'm working on making my life better, meet people I know and care about or bump into's lives better.
Absolutely.
And see, I've got a clear idea of where I'm going and how I'm going to get there and what it's going to look like when I get there. And I might not, I mean, I think I'll get there. I 100% believe I'll get there. I have faith that I'll get there. But even if I don't, I'm going to have a hell of a time.
Well, you better take some of his meditation classes and manifest it then.
No, he's already
doing it. I'm a fucking world-class manifester.
Well, then you were good then. We're good.
He just does it a different way. So what about you in the libertarian community? I mean, for me, I'm so disillusioned with politics in general now after the last year, especially after what happened down there in the States. I mean, are you guys, I mean, because I hear a little bit libertarian guys taking a bit of a beating in a way because
there's no in a way. We get our ass kicked constantly. However, there's a big however. I think now is our time to make real impact. And I don't just mean that as a joke. In 2016 is when I got really involved. I've been libertarian since 2012, but I got really involved in 2016, and I created in 2016 a 10-year plan. And I got 5 years left. 5 years in, 5 years left. And the goal is to get federal representation in our government by 2026. I hope we can get it in 2022 or 2024, but 2026 is my goal, that we can do it by then. And the reason is, now is the time for America to heal. We are so divided and people are so unhappy. Our two major parties, while they keep more and more in control, their actual membership has been dwindling for years. Our membership is still growing. Even though it's small, it's still growing. Not just that, a lot of people, they're voting for what they're against, not for what they're for. We united by who we hate, not what we stand for. So I hate Donald Trump, so I'm a Democrat, or I hate socialism, so now I'm a Republican. But it's not because they believe in Democratic Party or Republican Party ideals. I mean, there really aren't any. But in theory, there should be some, but they don't have to be any. They can just go, I'm not this, and people flock. We are the only movement where people actually say, I stand for something. I am something. I'm trying to get something done. And more people are looking for that. But there's a more important issue. Every single issue you brought up, the vast majority of hardcore Democrats, Republicans will simply take that issue, put it by a political bend. If it fits their political ideology, they will believe it. If it doesn't, they will disbelieve it. But most libertarians will actually take each one of them separately, because they don't have that same political bend. And even disagree with you, and many people in my chat disagree with you, they're not mad. They still respect your views, and they're still watching. Yep. So they're still watching, they're still commenting, they still give you the respect of going, hey man, do you? And some of them, as you know, are on board 100%. But still, we're all watching. The common thing that libertarians have is the idea that you can be liberal, conservative, conspiracy, mainstream, whatever you want. Just don't force your views on others. Yeah. And we're good.
And don't let corporations be people.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So I mean,
wait. I got to play this for Larry before I forget. This is Neil Armstrong, his last speech in public at the White House.
Okay.
On the 25th anniversary of the event in 1994, Neil Armstrong made a rare public appearance and held back tears as he spoke these brief cryptic remarks before the next generation of taxpayers as they toured the White House.
Cryptic remarks.
Today we have with us a group of students among America's best. To you, we say, we've only completed a beginning.
Okay.
We leave you much that is undone.
Okay.
There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
Huh?
He is.
Right?
Wow.
What
breakthroughs who can, for those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
I don't know what that's. Okay, so now, okay, all right. I don't. What are you?
And
Are you trying? Is that like
the
is that like the shadow people? I don't know what that one is. That one could be anything. Come on, man. That could be anything. That could be I don't like Nixon. I mean, 94. That could be I don't like Clinton.
Well, he went into seclusion too, right? Like he came back from the moon and he fucking hid out, and he had his daughter die at some point. I mean, who knows what the fuck was going on there?
That's
I mean,
true.
It starts to seem weird. It starts to seem weird.
It does. That's true.
And Buzz Aldrin punches people who ask him about it.
I know he literally does. And he knows that no one's going to arrest him because he's Buzz Aldrin. He's like, you can't arrest me. I walked on the moon. I get to punch people. I walked on the moon. So he literally knows that he can't get arrested.
You know when I get violent is when I feel guilty. I don't get violent when something's funny.
Okay.
No, it should just be funny to Buzz, but he's punching people.
He does. That's literally true. I know he does punch people. So, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I really enjoyed this show tremendously. The amount of people who literally posted best show ever, great show. This is a great show. You guys did a great job. Please do me a favor. Say where my audience can find you.
Go ahead.
Grimerica.ca, GrimericaOutlawed.ca, or rockfin.com/Grimerica would be all three of our shows.
There we go, guys. If you want to check it out. I want to say
adultbrain.ca is all the audio books we create, like The Secret Doctrine. We turn that into an audio book.
Secret Teachings of All Ages is coming out.
A lot of secrets.
Secret societies.
I knew it. Secrets.
Of all ages.
I knew it was secrets. There was no doubt it was secrets. I knew it was.
And you tell everybody where we can find you as well.
Absolutely, guys. If you want to, if your audience wants to see what I'm doing, I'm all about libertarian views and ideas and moving us forward and healing my country and healing us in general. It's very important. Head to the Sharpe Way, or just Google Larry Sharpe, or the Sharpe Way on YouTube, the Sharpe Way on Twitter, the Sharpe Way on TikTok, the Sharpe Way on Instagram, the Sharpe Way on every single thing. I got a Sharpe Way for it. Absolutely. Sharpe Way everything. And I'm live almost every night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's New York time.
Awesome. Thanks, Larry.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Great chat. Really appreciate it.